welcome. And welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. If you're new, thank you. If you're a current subscriber or if you're back, also thank you. Of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all of the things that help me get some traction in the algorithm, because isn't that just life, right? Algorithms. Anyway, I wanted to do this quick intro. I did not do this on the Scorpio video. That's okay. But I wanted to do this quick intro because it's 2023 and we are no longer going to assume that people know things without us actually telling people those things, right? And asking for what we want. So I do want you to subscribe to the channel. I want you to come back, press the notification thing, bell thing, so you know the videos are posted whenever they get posted. I would love that. Also, I do have an Etsy store. The link is below, because in true manifesting generator form, my soul cannot just have one thing to focus on. I have to have a bunch. So I do have that. I actually have 2 Etsy stores. One of them is on vacation for now. What else? I am working on getting personal readings back up and running since I've been back, but also just kind of trying to surrender to the flow of that. I mean, I know that'll come exactly when it's meant to. Was there anything else? On Instagram, I post daily, quickie energy reads, like, tarot updates. I was posting those on YouTube, but like on YouTube Shorts, but there's like a 60-second limit to those, and they've just been longer than that. So my Instagram is going to be linked below as well, so check that out. What else? I thought that there was more, and now I'm like drawing a blank, because that's what happens when you are a little vulnerable, I don't know. I guess I'm going to leave it there. If there is anything else, I'll mention it at the start of the video. Hello. So, usually I go in order, like zodiac signs and human design profile readings, but I didn't want to do that this time. So I wrote everybody down on pieces of paper, and this is how the order is being chosen. Whoever jumps out is next. Let's see. Virgo. Let's do it. So we're going to choose an oracle card for the overall vibe, the overall message. And then, of course, we have tarot to expand on that. It's so funny because I've been going between 2 different tarot decks this time. Because I always, like, before I do any reading, I ask the deck if it even wants to do it. So anyway, there's been 2 decks. So we're going between the 2 decks. For whatever reason, I felt the need to tell you that. So we have the Path here. I think this is probably one of my favorite cards in this whole deck. I mean, I love them all, but it's number 8. That could have some significance to you. There's something changing here, obviously, for you. It could, your path, there's something going on there. We have where this figure is standing here. There's, mountains, and it's nighttime. And then through this little portal or this window here, there's grass. It looks like the sun is coming up. There might be a storm going on there, just with the shadow, the way that looks. You could be moving from or to an area that resembles something like this terrain. Like you could be moving from an area that has mountains, or you're moving to an area that has mountains, Or, like going to some place that's a bit more flat, green, humid even maybe. But it's interesting because it seems like there's either hesitation or contemplation going on here, because we have this figure standing here. There's this ladder and they're not moving. It's not like they're on the ladder yet. Very interesting. I mean, I'm curious to see how this unfolds with the tarot. I mean, I think Virgo is very analytical anyway, so you could just be weighing your options, trying to decide what you want to do or where you want to go. I mean, I'm saying that you could be like physically moving locations, but it doesn't even necessarily have to be that. It could just be greener pastures, because literally there is, this green pasture looking thing in that window. So it could just be moving jobs or professions in some capacity. We have the Three of Swords. Definitely some sort of like mourning going on here. Heartbreak. There's just like something that's just not working. Maybe it's just not working the way that you wanted it to. It could be because of the end of a relationship. We need 5 more cards. Queen of Wands. One more. Yeah. Talk about the path. That's so cool. Because we have the path here, we have the Fool here, which is like the beginning of the path. It's a new path. And that's what, this card feels like anyway. So let's just work through it. Like I was saying with the Three of Swords, it doesn't feel good. But more so, swords have to do with our thoughts. It's our mentality, the way that we're perceiving our realities. It's our ego, because that's generally where we hear our ego is in our minds. And it's, the experiences and the thoughts that we've attached to those experiences that create our ego, right? And with it paired with a Strength card, Strength is a card of Leo. Strength talks about resilience, determination. It's an inner strength. It's not necessarily like physical, muscular, strength in that capacity. And with these two paired together, whatever the situation is that you've been in for some time, it's like you've been really trying to power through it, knowing that it is not right for you. It doesn't make you feel good. It doesn't maybe even acknowledge your skills, your abilities, what you do in that situation, like all of the things that you do, and we just, we keep ourselves sometimes locked into those situations because maybe we don't even see a path forward. Or maybe there's just a lot of different variables and things involved where we feel like we can't see this path forward. And maybe that's why they're standing on the ground here, not really moving, because there's a lot of uncertainty that comes with a new path. At least what you're doing now, whether that's work, a relationship, your day-to-day life, at least, like that is predictable, which makes it feel safe, or at least comfortable, even if it's not, because clearly there's something about it that is just not working. And also just the imagery on this Strength card, there is this energy about moving forward. There's this egg here, and whether they're trying to get to it or they're protecting it, I'm not sure. It might just depend on your situation. There's a frog and snakes that are that are swimming to the middle there, so that could have some significance to you. Or maybe you'll see a frog and or a snake in close proximity to each other. Not necessarily like real frogs or snakes. Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine seeing a snake in real life, like in close proximity. Be careful. But it's more so like the imagery. Like maybe you see a work of art or something just randomly, right? Like something just catches your attention and it has a frog and a snake on it. Or I keep seeing like ceramics for some reason. Or like something on a wall, like a plaque on a wall that's like made out of ceramics or concrete or something that, has the imagery of a frog and or a snake on it. But there is something here that's cracked open because there's light coming out of it. You might have to pass through, like this might be some rite of passage thing. Like I was going to say leap of faith, and we have the Fool card out here. Very interesting, because then there's this change here. The Queen of Wands is confident. I keep hearing like powerful. It's like maybe you're not even recognizing your own power or your own ability to change something. Even, like get on this ladder and go through that, like step into this new thing. It's almost like, calling in on this Queen of Wands. When we talk about the queens, it's like when we embody the energy of that suit, like we recognize it within ourselves. And once we're able to recognize it and embody it within ourselves, then we can share that with other people. And that's when we get to the king. But wands are creative, passionate, desirable. There's a communication and information element that comes with the wands also. So all of those things the Queen of Wands has. I always say the Queen of Wands is a bad bitch. Also, even just look at like her body language sitting there, like full on face, right? Like straight, like straight back, just strong, ready for it. I don't know, did I lift this card up yet? I can't remember, but this has a very fall vibe to it too, just the colors on the card. There could have been something that started in the fall of this last year, or this is something that is going to, like, you'll see the full manifestation of it in fall of this year, which feels like it's forever away. And it's, it's not. It's already the middle of February, It's going to move quick. And then we have the Four of Wands here, which talks about union and harmony. There's a stable foundation element because, with it being a four, it's closer to the beginning of the journey through the wands. So it's getting to a place where you recognize the actions that you've taken, the steps that you've taken have worked out to some capacity. And feeling good about that, like seeing the fruits of your labor. And again, even in this card, this feels more like summer into fall because, just the blue sky here, there's still some yellowing leaves back there. And I know it's just because, obviously it's the Wands card and it's representing fire, but it's still like, it still keeps drawing my attention. And it usually doesn't draw my attention in that capacity. So that's why I keep mentioning it. And also, we have this binding ceremony thing going on here. So this could have to do with a relationship. That could be a marriage. It could be some sort of partnership, some sort of union or commitment ceremony. It could even be business related, where there's some sort of commitment that's being made in a business. It could be an investor, but it's like somebody's coming in, or there could be somebody that's coming in as an investor or something along those lines. But also, if you already have somebody that you're partnered with, it could just be like a recommitment to that relationship, or committing to the direction that the business or the company is going in. We have these blue jays up here. And interestingly enough, earlier there were some bluebirds in my backyard. And I know that they're different. These don't look like the bluebirds that were in my backyard. So that's why I'm calling them blue jays. I could be wrong about what kind of bird that is, but it's just so interesting. I mean, that could even be something that shows up around you. Again, whether you see an image of that outside of this reading, or if you see like the physical bird. A lot of people correlate this card to like 1111 with the four wands. So it could just be, like I was saying before, this breathing new life into a commitment. This could even be committing to yourself. There doesn't have to be another person involved. This could be deciding to, like I said, walk through that window and see what happens. You know, like almost embracing the uncertainty of it all and committing to a new path. I'm only saying two people because there's two people on the card. But I can assure you, if there was not two people on that card, I wouldn't even be talking about two people. So, again, right? I mean, it does not have to involve anybody else ever. This could just be something that's going on within you. We have the High Priestess here, and that's part of the reason why I mentioned it, because then I started looking ahead at the next card, and I'm like, wait a second, this could just be something that's going on like within you, Virgo, personally. Because the High Priestess, that is a direct connection to our star player. You know, if you believe in a higher power, it would be that. If you don't believe in a higher power, it would be, you know, connecting to your own intuition, your own being. We have this figure here. This has a very fate feeling to it, because there's a natal chart here, which it's probably really hard to see on the camera, but there's a natal chart here. There's planetary and elemental symbols there. We have this baby here also. So it's like this fated thing starting to unfold for you in your life. And maybe it started doing that because of the Three of Swords. This is generally what causes most people's awakening or major life changes, is when something like the Three of Swords happens. Unfortunately, that's just what it takes most times to recognize that something's got to change. Like, again, something wasn't working, and it wasn't working at all. And you really were toughing through it. But now, like I said, you know, there's this energy that's changing. This could be an awakening, of course, but it's more so about aligning with your own purpose, or reconnecting with what you know to be true for yourself. Because every Virgo I have ever met, they know. They know. But it just gets buried under that. So, you know, there's this process of unraveling, unveiling, you know. I also think it's interesting that the Page of Pentacles came out in the reverse. And I honestly, like, I feel like it, oh my gosh, I have like other decks on my table, and let me just show you. This deck, which is the Audacity deck by Pine Torch, was sitting there like this. I don't know, like, and it just kind of caught my eye because I'm like, that's weird. Why is it like that? So I picked it up right where it broke, and there's the High Priestess again, which I feel is very fitting for what we just talked about. You know. And that's, you know, and I just get this feeling, again, like from this body language, it's like there's something that you know that maybe other people around you don't, but you just know. And maybe it's this path here. Maybe that's something that you haven't even shared with people yet. Maybe that's something you haven't even shared with your partner or your close relationships, or, you know, whoever is like in close proximity to you. The Page of Pentacles, like I said, with it being in reverse, I halfway feel like I almost kind of feel like it's maybe my own ego that is getting in my way. So upright, the Page of Pentacles is the apprentice. It's, you know, when you start a new job, or, you know, when you start a new course or program or school, it's that feeling of something new. And it's the act of starting that new thing. Pentacles having to do with our money, our time, our physical health. This dog is either digging up a bone or burying a bone, but there's like some sort of discovery happening here, or saving it for later. But with it being in the reverse, I get this feeling that it's like there's no like new skill that you need to acquire here. It's almost like repurposing the skills that you already have. And it's interesting because since it is in the reverse, they're looking at the Four of Wands. Whereas if it was in the upright, they would be looking towards the Fool. So there's something about even reworking this relationship, maybe even taking on a different role. And again, if it's not a relationship, and if it is just something that's going on with you personally, then there would be this opportunity here to repurpose, or maybe even look at something that you've already started. It's like you don't, okay, so we have the Fool card here. This talks about a leap of faith. It's a brand new journey. But what I was saying with this Page of Pentacles here, it may not be that you need to just like start from scratch. That could be what the Fool is. But since it is the last card, and like I said, since it's looking at the Four of Wands and not looking at the Fool card, there could just be, it's like whatever is going on in your situation, there's this opportunity to flip it a little bit. The Fool is like that decision. And like I was even saying with the path, there's an uncertainty aspect to it. But in this depiction of the Fool, there's no stopping the momentum here. Like, even if they were to put their foot back on the cliff, they would still fall forward. Because the forward movement, right? Like the momentum is already taking them forward. So whatever the situation is, it's like, you know, don't stop the forward movement. Especially Virgo, right? I mean, I have a Virgo moon. So it's almost like, you know, don't allow yourself to get stuck in like analysis paralysis. And that could even be what this is with the Page of Pentacles. Because, you know, Pentacles, Earth, right? I mean, like it could be trying to dissect every aspect of this and almost like be in some sort of control. And it's like, you know, loosen that grip a bit. We have the Hierophant, which is Taurus. This talks about tradition, traditional institutions like your corporate jobs, marriage, school. It also, like talks about traditional teachings. So, I mean, it could even expand to astrology or something along those lines, community in some sort of aspect. But this depiction of the Hierophant, it's almost like, these figures are giving their power up to this authoritative figure here. And again, that could be a corporate job. That could be marriage. That could be, sticking to something so rigid. Like, what else? Like organized religion, like something that, it's very boxy. And then we have the Moon card behind there. And the Moon card, it's interesting because there's this box down here. This to me, like behind the Fool card, this to me feels like fear. Again, with the uncertainty of the Moon, because the Moon is very much like the things that you don't see. It could be the things that you don't see coming, but it's like subconscious stuff. It also has this message about staying on course. Like, remember why you're doing what you're doing. Not all the scary stuff that could be happening around you, or especially what's going on in your mind. Like if you're kind of like freaking out, that's normal. And here's the depiction of that freaking out too, but also like feeling stuck or trapped, but really like you're not, because their hands aren't tied. They could uncross their hands and take off these ropes and that blindfold and walk away if they wanted to. The Five of Swords. This feels like, this depiction of the Five of Swords feels like fighting invisible enemies. I mean, we have these wolves here, but it doesn't necessarily look like they're putting up much of a fight. This one over here is like, bro, chill. Nine of Pentacles, worried about, like success. You could be, you could just be in this process of deconstructing, deconditioning this stuff right here. And it's not to say that this path or this Fool is going to happen like this month, but it's almost like now that you've seen this possibility, the ball's rolling and there's really no stopping it. And you are in full control of how fast or how slow that ball rolls, which is fine. Go as fast or as slow as you want to go, but at least just allow it to continue to move forward. That's the feeling that I'm getting, and I am going to leave it there. Yeah, and I just cut the Oracle deck and it says change. Change is coming. You know us earth signs love change. JK. I'm leaving it there. Thank you, Virgo, for allowing me to read your cards. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.